Well, it is a big day today. It is the Trump administration's so-called Liberation Day. Joining us now to talk about it all is Chuck Zodda with the Armstrong Advisory Group. Chuck, you're always so helpful speaking to us about some of these topics. Thank you for joining us today. I want to start off by asking you, what does this really mean for the economy?
Well, I think quite honestly, we don't know. There's a Bloomberg report that was out this morning that the Trump administration is still finalizing exactly what their plans are going to be for this afternoon. And given that, we really have no idea what's coming, to be completely honest. So I think there's a wide range of possibilities for what we could see. And I think the issue that you run into with this situation is, look, when you're talking about a policy change of this magnitude, generally you say, look, we're going to plan this a year in advance so that businesses and consumers can, plan for how they're going to adjust. And now you have an announcement that's going to happen at 4 p.m. today with tariffs going into effect tomorrow at 12:01, according to, what the administration has said. So I don't think we really have any idea exactly what's going to happen today. It could be something where you have blanket 10, 15, 20, 25% tariffs announced. It could be something where you have different tiers of tariffs announced, individualized ones for different countries. All those things have been floated, and we don't really know what's coming, quite honestly.
I want to talk to you a little bit about that number. I mean, what impact could 20 to 25% tariffs have on the US economy right now?
Well, I think it depends on how long those tariffs would be in place for, but the estimates that I've seen are that if you were to see a 20 to 25% tariff imposed, you could end up seeing anywhere from a $1,500 to $2,500 increase in the cost of goods bought by a typical family in a normal year. So costs have the potential to move up significantly. And as part of that, if more economic activity is sucked up paying more money for the same things, then you don't have money to spend on other things. And so it sucks economic activity out of the rest of the economy. So I think the potential here, if you were to see a blanket tariff of 20 to 25% put in place, and if it stayed in place for an extended period of time, it has the potential to be hugely disruptive to the US economy in the short term if that's what we were to end up seeing.
President Trump has been vocal about the fact that he does think that this could impact Americans short term in terms of the economy, but it could benefit American workers in the long run. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that when you talk about what the Trump administration wants to do through a combination of what they're saying and through also kind of what they've been signaling, it very much is something where they're looking at this and saying, look, we want to bring jobs that have been outsourced back to the United States. We want to find a way to lower the cost of financing the U.S. debt. And we want to be able to use those lower financing costs then to grow on the back end of whatever we see here. So I think there's a path that they've laid out where they say, look, this is generally what we want to happen. The question is, hey, can they actually go out and execute it? And it's one that I don't think anyone has answers for simply because this type and this magnitude of policy shift really hasn't been attempted at any point in the last 80 to 90 years in the United States. So you're talking about something where the only people who could tell you, realistically, hey, here's exactly how this is going to play out. There's no one alive that can talk about these types of things because we haven't seen it in several generations. So I think that there is, I'll acknowledge the possibility that, yeah, this could end up working out in a certain way where it ends up being beneficial to the US 3, 5, 7 years from now. It could also be something where we're sitting here, over that time frame saying, gee, this didn't really work. So I'm open to the possibility that it could end up in a more positive situation down the road. But there are a lot of things that we need to navigate in order to get there. And I think we're going to have to see how it plays out over the next 6 to 9 months in the initial phases to at least get a sense of what are the actual plans and then what's the impact of those over the rest of this year.
Yeah, we've seen tariffs over the past couple of months send the stock market into a bit of a roller coaster. You mentioned, of course, President Trump's meeting later today. It's at 4 p.m. in the Rose Garden. He's expected to make that announcement regarding the tariffs. What do you think that could do to the stock market moving forward?
It really depends on what we get as far as the actual announcement. If it is something, more aggressive blanket 20 or 25% tariffs, it has the potential to cause some significant downward movement. On the other hand, if what we get is more targeted towards a handful of countries, and if we get, some announcements in the coming days and weeks that some of those tariffs are being removed after negotiations on different areas, hey, you've got the potential for a relief rally in stocks. So I think there is a ton of uncertainty surrounding this situation. And quite honestly, I wish I could be more helpful in saying, like, here's what we expect, but we just don't know what is coming this afternoon. And so I think it very much is an open question as to what we get and then what the market response is depending on that.
Chuck, you are always helpful in this avenue for us. Thank you so much. We so appreciate your expertise with the Armstrong Advisory Group, and all eyes will be on it later today. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you.